What's up, guys? Cedo cards here in another video. Guys, first of all, as usual, I want to say thank you so much for the support you guys have been showing me. Again, I've hit 84 subscribers. It's great. You know, a best case scenario, I was hoping for, you know, as I saw more and more subscribers, I was hoping for, let's say 100 by the end of the year. But it's the 24th of November right now. It's more than likely that by the end of this month, I may hit 100 or early December. So I appreciate that so much. And, you know, it's just a testament to one, I think you guys just like what I'm doing. I think you can tell the authenticity about it. As you guys know, I've played this game for, I've played League of Legends for, you know, I'm 30 now. You know, I've started playing this game when I was 18, and you guys can just sort of tell the enthusiasm for this. So, guys, thank you. Before I jump into the video about, you know, graded cards and what we're seeing with the prices, guys, so I had a problem. I had booster boxes. You know, for example, I have this box. It's open. I've been opening some packs. These are unsealed. I've got maybe like 15 left of these to open, of the packs to open. But, you know, I had a box that I didn't want to open, and I looked at it and I said, I need to protect this. Now I've got protection for my One Piece cards. I've got, you know, sealed boxes. I've got protection for my Pokemon collection, and I said, I need something to protect this. I had a spare One Piece box. I tried to put it in there, didn't fit. So I said, there's none in the market. So I went ahead and spoke to a producer in China, and I asked him to build me this. And so, guys, I have asked for 30 to be made. Gave them the dimensions. I asked for about 5mm buffer, just to make sure that it fits nice and snug. If you notice on your booster boxes, there is a bit of an air pocket in the ceiling. Some of them have that, some don't. But I found that those that do, you kind of just have to hold that part as you bring it down in, so that bit fits in snug. Some of them don't have that, so that's no problem. But guys, this fits so snug, it's great. I'm so glad it's protected now, because I plan to keep some of these sealed for a long time. Again, I'll have at least one of these sealed per set. So guys, if you want to grab one of those, the link will be in the bio for the eBay link. I am in the UK, I am UK based, so if there is anyone that wants to purchase it abroad, feel free to, but there is of course the additional price of shipping, and I'm sure you'll probably be able to get this, maybe you can, where you live, may not, but if you do want to support and show a bit of love and pay that extra fee, I appreciate it, but you don't have to. I have just 30 made, about 5 have sold so far, which is great, because I've actually not publicized it anyway just yet, but 5 are sold, and yeah, if you want to support, they're £23.98, after the buyer's fee. You know, it's about, I put it for 22, buyer's fee makes it 24. So yeah, if you want to support, I appreciate that, but no issues. You won't really see me advertise it here. But now that it's made, I'd like to at least, I'll put it in the description, but I won't be thrown in your face. But I'm just excited that it's arrived and it fits, because I was worried it might not fit. Anyway, topic of today. So finally, we're seeing graded cards show up in the market. You know, this was on my mind for quite some time. When will we start to see the graded cards? What prices will we see? Still very early. I've yet to see, well, sorry. We've seen some graded cards like the RE promo, some Teemo promos, but not the signature cards. Now we're seeing the signature cards show up in PSA, BGS. So I'm looking forward to it. Surprisingly, just starting off with the, I'll tend to go from the highest sale in terms of the value down to the lowest. I think that's just an easy way to track it. So we're seeing Kai'Sa for 4,500. So guys, if I have time, we're already 4 minutes in, I will go over the signature prices, the standard, without the raw price, not graded. It depends on how much time we have. But surprisingly, and this is surprising me a little bit, you know, Kai'Sa has come out as the, you know, the leader in terms of the value and what people are valuing it at. This is sold for 4,500, and that's as is. Now this isn't a black label, and which makes me so fascinated by, you know, the cost of black labels as they start to show up, and you know they will feed into the market extremely slowly. As you guys know, to get a BGS black label, all 4 conditions have to be 10 out of 10. So as you see here, and I'm sure this guy is gutted, you know, it got 10 for centering, 10 for edges, 10 for corners, but 9.5 for the surface. So maybe there was some marking on the surface that put it down to just a 10 pristine. Black labels, as you know, they often go 5x what standard, say like a PSA 10. Well, not 5. It could go if it's a crazy sort out after card, but could go 4x for what standard PSA 10 card it goes for. So honestly, I do wonder what will sales will see for black labels if we do start to see some. I mean, probably like for Kaiser, probably about 8,000 in my opinion, which is crazy to think about. But I'm just very surprised that Kaiser has hit the top of the sort of the value space. And I mean, I thought it may have been Ari Yasuo. I thought it'd be Ari or Yasuo, to be honest, not Kaiser. I mean, Kaiser's her artwork is probably one of my favorite. I think, yeah, to be fair, Ari Yasuo and Kaiser's artworks are my favorite. I've said it loads of times. You know, it reminds me of this the manga jargon. You know, that sort of artwork. It's great. And yeah, just didn't see it being number one, but we're seeing 4.5 for this, which is crazy. And yeah, you know, Canadian sale, but roughly 4.6. I think it's a bit of sorry. This is a separate one. This was a PSA 10, which sold, again, similar numbers. It's all pretty crazy when it comes to Kaiser, personally. You know, I'm a bit shocked. I didn't really expect Kaisers to sell as much. You know, we see 3 PSA 10s, you know, in the last week or so. One for 4K, one for 4.5, and then one for 2.6. So I guess whoever purchased here just got really lucky, but just hold on to it. Again, as usual, guys, I always say it, let's exercise some caution, because these are the first 3 that have sold. We will see so many come about. Not just this, we haven't even seen a reprint of Origins just yet. We're going to see loads of new boxes onto the market, loads of more gradings. You know, these free sales are from people who would have chose the express grading. I'm sure there are hundreds, probably thousands of PSA requests with a Kaiser card and all these average signature cards that have not chosen the express, and will probably take, like, look, let's be real, 4, 5, 6 months to come back. But there is a long trajectory for this game. Take your time. There is really no rush to grab one of these cards. These prices will come down. There is no chance. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm sure I would like to think you guys also think the same, that there is loads of time and that these will come down as more and more enter into the market. So don't go buying one now. Don't do that. If you pull a Kaiser, you know, hopefully one of these boxes is something cool. But then, you know, I don't care too much about putting something, you know, crazy, to be honest. But if you pull it, then that's good. And I would say definitely, if you can grade it, send it off 3-4 months, it doesn't matter. And if it comes back at a 10, then that's good news. But then we'll see Ari. This as well is surprising. This was a bid, to be fair. It was a bid, but it's ended at 3.6k, you know, dollars. Again, crazy. And again, these are early, you know, entries into the market. As we can see here, there's total pop. Only 12 have been. See, I don't know how accurate this is. But we're seeing 11 total PSA 10s, and I wonder if this is only those that have actually had grading completed, because I'm sure there have been like hundreds thrown into PSA for Ari, for example. But I imagine most of them are for the slow grading queue as opposed to express. So I wonder if this population only appears once the grading has taken place. And again, that would only be for those who have chosen the highest, sorry, not highest, but the most expensive. I'm trying to find this. Wait, there we go. The most expensive grading queue. So again, we've only seen one sale of Ari PSA 10, and again, we're seeing crazy prices. Then Yasuo, this is a CGC, to be fair, and I know in the UK CGC isn't really popular at all. It's mainly just an American thing. But we see a CGC 10 sell for 1.5k for Yasuo. Again, on the cheaper end, in my opinion. That's just me holding Yasuo to kind of a higher esteem. You know, we do, again, Yasuo players can be a bit degen, but I think we find that Yasuo is a good character, and yes, what does, I think he deserves for what he has brought to the game and the new mechanic. And at the time, you know, I think I would think that when we see a PSA 10, we'll probably see much higher prices than this, but we see a 1.5k for this, so it's still pretty solid. And again, this is CGC route as opposed to PSA, which holds a high premium, as we all know. PSA, Beckett, those are really the two that hold high premiums. Tag is good, Tag is great. It's just not there on the market just yet. And yeah, and we see a Misfortune, which is very fascinating because, again, a raw Misfortune like a month ago, as we saw, was a month ago. When did this game come out? Was it end of October or start of October? I can't remember. I think it was end of October. But you know, it's been what, a month, and you know, we saw the price of a Misfortune signature at 1.2k, and now we're seeing the PSA 10 for that price. Again, I've always said exercise caution. We may have some time to go through some of the signature cards and their raw prices. Give it time. We will see these come down, and you can grab the PSA 10 that you want. What I really love about this Riftbound Tcg is that people are really collecting the champions they like. As I've said, once a Morgana comes out, I'm grabbing that Morgana card. If there's a Swain that comes out, I'm grabbing that. If there's an Echo, I'm grabbing that. Those three guys I'm grabbing. And if they do some rework, like if they did like some cameos, like remember old Galio with the Wind Gust and the Taunt Ultimate? Like if they did like a cameo card, like I would grab that in an instant. So, you know, I do hope they do bring some of these cameos, like old reworks, like old Tarek and whatnot. But yeah, I know I'm doing a bit of rambling. We see a set, like a 1.3k. I don't know. I'm not much of a set person. I never really played him. I was a top laner, but I was always kind of Volibear, bit of Jax, Swain, bit of Jarvan. I was never really a Swain set. But it's over 1.3k. And again, as I said before, what I really appreciate about League of Legends Riftbound is that it will have each card will have a strong fan base, and you know, the strength of those fan bases will dictate the prices. So clearly, as we're seeing here, there is a lot of love for set, which is good, which is dope. We see Jinx for about 1k, 1.1k, 1.2k. Surprises me still. I keep saying it. I expect the Jinx to be one of the highest performers in this original first set as well. I do think she will creep up over time, personally. But it does surprise me that she is a lot considerably cheaper than the others, particularly, you know, than Kai'Sa and Ahri, for example. We see Victor about 1k as well. Doesn't surprise me as much. It's a cool card, but you know, people don't have as much of an attachment to this Arcane Victor as they do the Machine Herald Victor. You know, the Victor we've all known for like the last 10 years before Arcane really became a thing. So it is a cool looking card. If it was the Machine Herald Victor with his staff, I'd be a lot different. So we're seeing 1k for this. You know, it's kind of on brand. I think it's on brand. And we saw this is the Canadian 1k, so it's about just under 1k as well in US dollars. So again, similar numbers. Leona, we saw sell PSA 10 for about, you know, close to 1k as well. I like this. I think this is justified. This is an absolutely gorgeous card. It's one of my favorite artworks. Dare I say, you know, it's just the art direction is so clean. It kind of just highlights her character, you know, from Mount Targon, the darkness, and you know, darkness, yet there's glimmers of light and radiant dawn. It makes sense. It's a very beautiful artwork, and I think 1k is pretty justified. And I imagine that will drop some bit, but I think it will sit at a stable 800 in my opinion. And again, once the set is no longer printed, which is not for a long time, we're here very early into the market. You know, once this is 2-3 years out, we will start to see this climb and appreciate in a very elegant way, because Leona is a great character and she deserves that. And I think her fan base will recognize that. She's been around from damn near the beginning. I'm not sure if she was season 1, but look, I joined season 3 and she was already an amazing character. So yeah. Then we see this is actually a non-signature that I found that I wanted to just highlight. We saw PSA 10 for non-signature. So I do hope that we start to see, you know, some non-signature grades as well. This is $300. It's pretty solid. I'm not mad at it. I think it's a great price, and I think this is a great entry point into graded cards. So actually, I do look forward to being able to do a slideshow and a discussion about all the overnumbered that aren't signatures. because I think this is a great price point to enter. This may dip still, but I think the overnumbered art signatures, these are a great entry point into the market if you do want to grab some of these League of Legends cards and just hold them. If you don't want to grade it yourself and you want to just grab one of these, I think these are a great entry point into having really cool collectible items without paying the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 when it comes to these signatures. So that's interesting. We're about 15 minutes in, so I have time to discuss the standard raw signatures. So again, Kaiser has again blown things out of the water. I thought it was going to be Yasuo. I mean, if you guys remember, close to a month ago, we were discussing Yasuo hitting like 1.5k at one point, and I thought that was going to be the new, the ceiling, and that things would drop down from there because again more would feed into the market. But actually, we are seeing a steady climb. You see Kaiser recent sales, 1.7. That's pretty crazy, personally. And ultimately, it's just a testament to the fan base. That's what it is. I think when it comes to League of Legends and Riftbound, the conversation will be, around the fan base of that card, of that champion, and deservedly so. She's a great character. I think that the character design is great. The abilities are great. How you rank up your abilities based on either AP or AD and so on. So I think it's a great character design. Cool character. So it seems there's love for her. She has popped off crazy in events and pro play. So it makes sense that there's a lot of love for her. And yeah, so we're seeing 1.7k, a climb, which is again pretty crazy to me, but I'm happy for her. And again, we're looking at some of the 1.7 is an average. We see a bunch of sales, 1.5, 1.6, 5, 1.6, it's fluctuating at the moment, but then this is just eBay, and TCG takes into account multiple websites that sell it. So that's why we're seeing 1.7 here and not so much on eBay. Ari as well has been climbing steadily again. Looking at about 1. See if I can refresh, about 1.2, 1.1, again, which is very surprising. But at the same time, I think deservedly so. Yeah, we're looking at creep up about 1.2, 1.3. I don't know. Again, these prices, they deserve it. These are great characters, great champions. I think this TCG is going to do very well. I just think it's a bit too soon for us to be seeing 1.3k for an Ari card. But, again, as I just said, it's about the champion fan base. I played mid, but I was never really an Ari person, personally. To be honest, she was always a counter to people I played, which was kind of annoying. But I see the appeal. Ari's been great from the beginning, great champion, very fun to play, I can tell. And yeah, 1.3k, it's a lot of money. And if you see the sales on eBay, 1.3k, 1.4, 1.5, 1.3. So deservedly so, she is worth quite a lot. So if you do pull this, hold on to it or grade it, or just if you want to buy more booster boxes, you can sell it. I just don't know. I don't think if I had it overnumbered, I don't think I'd sell it. I'd probably just hold on to it. One, it's just nice to hold into a collectible like that. And two, I just, in my opinion, I trust over time it will appreciate. So, and then we're seeing Yasuo. So Yasuo, Lee Sin. This is, Lee Sin. We're looking at 734, sorry, as the market price. And I think that's deserved. I would have thought he would have been worth a bit more, but I think Lee Sin, people watch him from afar because people know that the skill level to play him is, the requirement to play him is extremely high. So I think that has not priced people out, but in the sense of the game, it's very hard for people to get into Lee Sin and play him to the level that they want to, as opposed to an Ari. It's not hard to hit like a high skill ceiling for Ari, but to hit a high skill ceiling for Lee Sin takes a lot of work. Regardless, he's still very much appreciated, but it doesn't mean that his play base would be less, to the degree of not just playing the character, but playing the character to a high level and high standard that you can really be satisfied with that character and your attachment to that character. But Lee Sin, still very much a loved character. We're seeing about 734. I think it's reasonable. Personally, the card artwork is gorgeous. Personally, I think it deserves more based on the artwork alone. And I look forward to Spiritforged and all the new sort of arts and artists they work with for these cards. I wanted to discuss Spiritforged in this video, but they've not revealed all the characters yet, or the overnumbered yet. And I would rather do them all in one video than kind of break it up. And we're in no rush. You know, the TCG, the set isn't out yet until next year, really. So I was thinking of buying the Chinese, but I think this time around I'll just wait until the English comes out. So Tmall, we're looking at a market price of 685. You know, I love Tmall. And I'm sure most people do, but I think this is reasonable. The artwork is quite basic. It's not basic, but it's quite standard. You know, almost his just general, you know, game artwork. We are still seeing, and while I'm here, we are still seeing that GG as, you know, GG easy Tmall card just climb and climb and climb. I mean, this is the Chinese one. You know, someone's offering it for 575, 600. Every time I keep saying I should have bought one, every time I see it, it's just climbing and climbing. I'm still not gonna buy one now at this point. I have missed out ultimately, so I am on the sidelines unless I go to a Nexus night and magically pull one. And a PSA 10 Beckett, oh my goodness, this card is just fantastic, man. So as you can tell, it's already hitting the same price as the signature. So, you know, a good artwork goes a very long way in, you know, the fan base truly appreciating you know, the card and what's been made. Misfortune, surprisingly, this is hovering around 670. This is a great artwork. It's a shame because I think the artwork is gorgeous. Misfortune as a character isn't played as much, as we all know. Of course, her lore is great and people love her in Runeterra in general, but you know, this card does more, not what is injustice, but this card does a lot more for her than her character really outputs at the moment. So it's a very great card, gorgeous card, and I'm glad that they've chosen an artwork like this because it's really gorgeous. And but yeah, I think 678, I think that's reasonable at this point. Like I said, this has dropped from 1.2k. To be honest, I've been seeing loads of Misfortune collectors. Interestingly, in the UK Discord, we've got some people hunting purely for Misfortunes. It's great. So that makes me wonder a bit. But yeah, you know, we're seeing that. Leona, we're seeing 640. And again, as I mentioned, it is a support character. Gorgeous card. You know, deservedly so. You know, deserves to be worth a lot in the same, you know, space as, you know, the ADCs and the mid laners and so on. So Leona does deserve that space because she really is important for the game. So I think 640 is very, very, very good. And again, if we've seen a dip, not much of a dip as others. I think Leona really was going for like 800, 850. So to see it only go down 640 just highlights how great of a card this is. And you know, we will eventually see a floor. We will eventually see it climb up again. But again, we are so early into the game that even if prices are dipping, more and more people are entering into the market, which means more and more people, more and more people are coming into the game. You know, from League of Legends, from other TCGs, they're coming into the game. They're picking up these cards, and suddenly now that means there's less and less cards on the market. So all of a sudden now there's pressure on the price, and the price starts to go up again. And I think we are seeing that gradually. More and more people are entering into the TCG, more people are having a great time, and the supply is running thin. People are grabbing it to collect, they don't plan to sell again. If I grab a card, I'm not selling it. Maybe 10 years down the line, if I'm leaving TCGs altogether, and I just want to have no space for these things. But I'm generally going to grab it and just hold it because it's a cool looking card. And we're going to see that a lot as more and more people come into this space from League of Legends, from other TCGs, but particularly from League of Legends. So that's where people have the attachment to these characters. If you're coming from another TCG, chances are you just want to play the game, and you're gonna, you know, pay for the cards that cost a lot but are good in the game. If you're coming from League of Legends, chances are you're gonna be here to collect, play a bit, sure, but you're gonna be here to collect, and you're gonna have a real attachment to these cards. So it just depends on where you're coming in from. But those that come in from League of Legends, I trust that we will see, you know, a draining on the supply of these signatures. And then eventually a pressure begin to grow on these, and the floor start to climb again. So, you know, we'll be here through this whole journey, and we'll have this discussion more and more. But yeah, just seeing sort of fluctuations in the price. Set, we're seeing 617. I don't have much to say about Set, as you guys know. I think it's deserved. I think it's deserved. It's just Set, in my opinion. Jinx surprises me as well, 617. Again, I've said it over and over again. It surprises me that she's this price. I know she doesn't get much play these days in pro play, but Jinx is an OG, you know, so it surprises me. And let's just see how things go over time. But maybe it's the artwork. Maybe it's the artwork. This kind of reminds me of Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. But again, like this, it's just a dope design. There's more. I can't say there's more character in this compared to Jinx. This here, I think they're both equally pretty solid. It's just the demand right now. Then we see Yasuo. Now this surprises me. 600 for Yasuo is crazy. Like that's just crazy. Personally, this card was 1.5k at some point. And now we're seeing 600, but I think it's also because, you know, I don't know why. I was gonna say because so many people, everyone was buying it, and so it became a seller's market. For example, let's say I have a Leona card. I just want to keep it because there's not much demand in terms of price. If Leona was a 1.5k card, then yes, I'm gonna sell my Leona card and try to put another one. So I think what happened was Yasuo was so sought out after that it became a seller's market, and then people bought it up and now it's just cheap. Maybe that could be wrong. That doesn't sound correct in my head anyway. So I'm just not sure why it's so cheap at £600, $600. But it is what it is. Volibear, this doesn't surprise me. It's a cool looking card, but I think Volibear is a bit niche in terms of a character. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Victor surprises me, but also doesn't surprise me. Again, as I've mentioned, there's no real attachment to this character. Because it is the Arcane Victor. If this was Machine Herald Victor, no doubt this would be worth a lot. Everyone loves Machine Herald Victor. Arcane Victor is just not the person you grew up playing, so it doesn't surprise me that this is sitting at 484. I do hope the next time they do a Victor card, it is the Machine Herald, the old school Victor. So yeah. And then lastly we have Darius, and again this doesn't surprise me either. This Darius doesn't exemplify who Darius is. You know, this just makes him look, not like a goofball, but this isn't the Hand of Noxus that we know. That is a headache to play against, headache to, you know, give him one kill, he's old, and then he's just killing everyone. Everyone's just so annoyed, and yeah, this isn't the Darius we know, so it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing, you know, quite a cheap price for this. Still grab it. I think great price to grab it at, but I do think this will go cheaper and cheaper. We see it here saying near mint just as we end the video. This doesn't mean it's $800. It just means there is a someone trying to sell it at 800. But obviously, as we see, you know, recent sales, we're seeing 500, 400. So that's what people are gonna buy it for. That's gonna end it. Again, I wanted to spend some time going through graded cards we've seen. We've seen some PSA 10s, almost a black label, and I'm sure there'll be many more coming up. I do hope to see a black label eventually, and I wonder what the price will be like. But I'll leave it there. It's been about 30 minutes. So guys, if you like this video, you know, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe. You don't have to subscribe, but if you do, I appreciate it. As I mentioned, if you don't want to subscribe, just check me out, keep watching, you know, be here for the journey. And if you do start to like it, there's no harm in throwing a subscribe. I do appreciate it. And again, if you guys want to check out the acrylic case, UV protecting, the link will be in the bio. I've just made 30, I've had 30 made so far, 5 are gone. 25 should probably last for a few weeks, I imagine, or maybe a month or two. Who knows? I don't know how fast it's gonna go. Yeah, support. If just watching is more than fine. But if you want to support and do that, go ahead. I appreciate it. Cool. That's me done. And yeah, catch you soon. Cedo out.